Good morning, everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful Thursday so far. Hi, my name is Carly Bell, and I love to do machine embroidery tutorials. And this week we are continuing on our sew along journey, making the Oh So Delightful quilt from Kimberbell. And we are on week 7, believe it or not. And today we are going to be finishing up what's called section 3 of the quilt, which had the spools of thread and the iron blocks that we made last week. And this week we're going to make the filler blocks for section 3 and the little cross stitch heart design for section 3, and then put it all together. And section 3 is going to be done. So it's crazy how I know how intimidated I was to start this project. And now that I'm doing it, I'm like, this is going quickly. So I'm glad I'm taking my time with it, just doing it once a week. It makes it not feel so overwhelming, but then it also feels like it's all coming together. So, and Annette and Terry and Diane, I'm so glad y'all are here with me. I am wondering, how are y'all doing? Are y'all following along with the sew along? And if so, what stage of it are you at? Because I know some of you were waiting on supplies, waiting on fabric. So let me know in the chat how you're doing and at what stage you're at with the quilt right now. So yay, Linda, I'm so glad you're here live too. Thanks so much for joining us. All right, so as I was saying, today we are going to make the filler blocks for section 3 and the cross stitch heart. So today is going to be separated into 3 hoopings. First, I'm going to do probably the cross stitch heart, and that is done in a 5x7 hoop. And then once that's done, we're going to make 2 of the tiny filler blocks in one 5x7 hoop. And then the last thing we'll break out the 6x10 hoop, and we'll make those 2 larger filler blocks in one hooping. So that's kind of my plan to go today. And I have my handy dandy cheat sheet that is free for all of y'all to download. So if you are just tuning in to this sew along and didn't know it was happening, don't worry, all of the previous weeks are all recorded here on YouTube and on my Facebook page. However, Facebook deletes videos after they've been out for 30 days. So YouTube is probably your best place to go. And then my website as well, carlybell.com. On there, you'll see a blog post dedicated to the sew along. A link for it is right below this video. And on there, you can go and see all of the details about the sew along, all the supplies that you need, some optional supplies to make your life easier, and the free download for this cheat sheet that we're going to be referring to for the blocks that we're doing today. All right, let's see. Yay, Annette is just starting. She's got all her stuff now. Yay, so glad. Let's see, Maureen, she missed last month's lesson to an unexpected surgery. I hope you are recovering well, Maureen. I hope that your recovery is going well, and that when you are bored and you can just sit in your chair, that you can make some blocks with us. All right, let's see. Diane says section 1 and 2 is done, so now she has to play catch up. I'm glad that she can go back and rewatch. Yay, and Maureen can't wait to catch up. Wonderful. So another thing that I've done, and I have it on my YouTube channel, I need to go and make sure it's on my website blog post, but I made a playlist. So when you go to my YouTube channel, I think the main page will show you like the latest videos, the most popular videos, and then they have some little playlists underneath. And I put Oh So Delightful as a playlist there. And so you could see it from the very beginning, and they'll all play in order. So that should make your life easier as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So I want to start with the cross stitch heart. This design is this one with the navy blue background. It looks like an embroidery hoop with an actual cross stitched heart inside of it. Now, you will notice there are 2 of these blocks in this quilt. This one is here in section 3. That's the one we're going to do today. But in section 4, there's also a cross stitch heart, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this one and some options, because I want this to be your homework, if possible, so that we can knock out the rest of these possibly next week. I'm not sure how many blocks will get done next week. If we can get these 3 blocks done, then we could start moving on to the borders and binding and everything. So this is the block we're focusing on right now. I am just going to use my 5x7 hoop. I have my 6x10 one here. And in case you haven't seen any of the previous week's lessons, I am using lightweight cotton muslin as my stabilizer instead of using no-show mesh cutaway. And what I do is I cut a strip that's about 11 or 11 and a half would be better. I cut 11 and 11 and a half if you're doing it for the first time. Cut it 11 and a half inches wide, and then the whole length of your fabric, the whole, I guess, what do you call it? The width of fabric. I've already cut some out over here, and this is my surprise for later. I'm already spoiling it. But I cut a strip. And for me, these strips work well for my 5x7 hoop because I could hoop it up and down like this. Or if I do my 6x10 hoop, I can hoop it this way and have plenty of room to go around. So we'll do the 5x7 hoop first. And I guess I'll go ahead and tell you because y'all could see this. So remember how I was telling you they had 2 cross stitch hearts? I really want to do something different right here. And so I played around with some different options. I looked at some of the bonus designs to see if there was anything I liked that I would put in this block instead of another cross stitch heart. And what I decided to do was personalize it by putting my business logo and the year that I'm making the quilt. So this would also be a cute block to make yourself almost like a quilt label, but it be part of the quilt. So I did the same background quilting that was supposed to be for that design. And I was going to use the embroidery hoop and just only delete the heart bit. But my logo has an embroidery hoop in it, so it kind of looked silly with an embroidery hoop inside of an embroidery hoop. So I decided to just make myself an oval applique instead. And I just put my business logo on there, and I added 2025 with a BX font. So that is going to be my bottom block right here, just to personalize it a little bit. But if you just want to stick to the plan and make the cross stitch heart, you're going to make 2 of what I'm about to show you. So when I do this strip, I can really hoop right next to my previous design, and I waste less stabilizer doing that. All right, so just make sure everything's in there good. And I got my cheat sheet. We're on page 7, cross stitch heart, and we're going to use the Hearts 5 background quilting. The instructions are on page 24 of our book. I got navy background fabric. I got my envelope already with the cross stitch heart. I got a piece of white applique. I got my batting, and I'm using navy for the background quilting. And if you look at the design on the book, it uses a tan color for the embroidery hoop, a light silver for the little screw at the top of the embroidery hoop, and then red for the heart itself. So I'm going to need all of these 3 colors when I go to the machine. So I'm going to bring all of this over, and we can go ahead and get started. And I'm using my Stellaire as I have in all the previous tutorials. This is my favorite flatbed machine that I have. It's like a Cadillac of embroidery machines. It's beautiful. It does sewing and quilting and embroidery. It's a combo machine. What I love about it though is I don't have to take this giant embroidery arm off when I want to sew. There's a button I can press and this embroidery arm will move all the way out the way. And then I got this whole big space to sew when I need to. And it's very easy to change over. And the other beautiful thing is it has a ginormous hoop, which I think I'm going to end up using next week. I need to put a poll out there because the easiest route would be for me to use my giant hoop to make that sewing machine block that on the bottom of the quilt. But not everybody has a 9.5 by 14 hoop. So would y'all rather me make it the split design way so that it's more beneficial for those of y'all that are working and either just having a 5 by 7 hoop or just having a 6 by 10 hoop? So I'll need to put a poll, but go ahead and start talking in the chat and let me know what you prefer for next week. So that is the sewing machine block. This is an extra large block. The finished block I think is 8 by 10. I think the design can be split up into two, either 6 by 10 hoopings or two 5 by 7 hoopings. It says this whole thing can be made with 5 by 7, so it must be two 5 by 7 hoopings. I'll have to go double check. But this is a block we're making next week. Now, what am I doing? I am loading cross stitch heart. Ooh, did I load? I don't think I made cross stitch heart yet. I think we have to go to Embrilliance. Okay. Let's go. Yeah, I see a lot of people commenting they want to learn the split design. Yeah, I think that's the most beneficial for everybody. Because if you have a giant hoop, it's very straightforward. All right, what am I doing? I am bringing you to my computer. There's my design. Isn't it cute? So this is the background quilting. Did I do it here? No, this is for tomorrow. Okay, those are designs for tomorrow's sip and stitch. So this is my little block I made myself for that, but I want to make a new thing. And let's close that. All right, where am I? Okay, so the first thing we want to load is the background quilting, which according to my cheat sheet, which I have at the other table. Okay, I need hearts 5. All right, let's find hearts 5. Here we go. And embroidery files, block by block. Doesn't matter what format you choose. And what are we doing? A 4 by 4, right? Hearts 5, 4 by 4. I'm going to drag it and drop it on my Embrilliance. I also have the option of double clicking it because my Embrilliance, my computer knows to open anything that has a .pes after it. The automatic program to open it with is Embrilliance. These are things that I go over in my detailed course on how to use Embrilliance Essentials. It's called Embroidery Essentials. If you have any questions on that, I think I have a link for it under this video and it tells you all about the course. But we have our Hearts 5 background quilting and now we have to go all the way back. This is, no, even more. Okay, these are all my folders for Oh So Delightful. Now we'll go to embroidery files. So Happy. And there's the cross stitch heart. So we drag and drop that. And when I do that, it automatically centers both. So I really don't have any work to do with this. The one thing that I'm going to do, because I tend to forget, is because I have pre-cut my batting to fit perfectly, I no longer need to trim my batting. So I don't need this step. And then also for the placement of the background fabric, I think is unnecessary because I'm just going to center it right on top of my batting. So I like to go and delete steps 2 and steps 3. So there's only a placement for the batting. I glue my batting down. Then I'm going to put my background fabric right centered on top of it. And then I'm going to tack down my background fabric and do my background quilting. And then we will do the applique for the embroidery hoop and the cross stitch heart. All right, so this is now done. I hope I can still send it to my machine because it's on a Wi-Fi network. And I plugged my computer into my modem directly. Let's see if it works. Please work. Yay, files into machine. Okay, so now let's go back to the machine. Let me go and check the chat and see if y'all had any questions. Okay. Ooh, I like this. Teresa says she's pulling out her metallic thread for the screw bit at the top of the embroidery hoop. That's a great idea. I think I have metallic thread. I want to do that too. I have to find it. Okay. Okay, so I see people talking about the split designs. Okay, hi Jenny. All right, so now at my machine, I can press the Wi-Fi button. And what did I name it? Cross stitch heart. So it starts with a C. And there it is. And I could hit set, embroider, done. Okay, so the first step is the placement for the batting. I have pink thread. No, what do I have? I don't have any thread loaded. This one I cut. Doesn't matter what color thread you load for this step. I got pink on my machine, so I'm just going to do that. All right, that's telling me where to put my batting. Get my batting out. And spool glue stick. I like this method better than the spray adhesive. I only did the spray adhesive that first week, and then since someone told me about using the glue stick, I haven't looked back. So that makes me even happier that I did not buy that $20 little cute spray tint for my spray adhesive, because I really wanted to buy that, but I was like, I don't need that. I just wanted it. Okay. So I'm just putting the glue. I'm making sure the bed of the machine is underneath where I'm passing, so I'm not putting too much pressure on my stabilizer. And then also make sure it's nice on the machine when you actually press your batting. So I love that we pre-cut everything before we started this project. That took all of the, I think, procrastination out of me and all the hesitation to start these things. Because like, I know I could just grab an envelope and go. All right, now, second step is actually basting the background fabric down. So let me get my background fabric out my envelope. I got the navy floral fabric, and I'm just putting it right on top of my batting. You got plenty of room to work with because we cut these pieces, I think, rather large. And I know that it's not going to also tack down my red that I have here because I hooped them so close together. And now we want to switch threads. This is when, if you have the water soluble thread, I have it on my machine already. I always do the basting stitches in the water soluble thread, so it's much easier to remove before we trim. So we're going to add that and go. And then the step after that is going to be the background quilting. So I'm going to put my navy blue thread on. I have a 2 holder spool. You see my navy thread? That's my water soluble thread. So it's nice because it holds both of them. And it's got a piece that goes up so that it feeds into the machine nicely. Because whenever I'm using a flatbed machine, I like to have a vertical thread stand. I don't like the horizontal spool holder. All right. Done with the water soluble thread. Put the navy thread on. Okay, and I could see on my machine now it's that hearts background quilting. Lower and go. And then let me set up. I think the spot after this is the applique steps. for the inside of the little embroidery hoop. And for some reason it does the heart and then it does that. So I'll just do the applique with the navy. I think that'll be the easiest thing. I could just leave the navy on and then I'll go ahead and load the red thread. And I need to go look for my silver metallic thread. I love that idea. I put all my specialty threads in a little special box. I found it. I still haven't bought the King Star metallic thread that I've always wanted. I keep saying I'm gonna buy and then I keep putting it in my cart and not checking out. This is something I bought a long time ago. I got it from Sewing Machines Plus. But it's actually Brother brand metallic. And at the time, I think they only had silver, gold, and red. That's what I ordered. And I don't remember it being expensive, which was probably why I ordered it instead. I don't think I knew about King Star back then. This was years and years and years ago. But King Star, which is made by Dime, is supposed to be the best metallic thread. And I've had several of y'all tell me it really is. So I will one day buy a set. Probably just need to wait until I have the project where I really need it, and then I'll sit down and buy it. Okay, this was coming out a little bit, so I got that ready. And then my tan thread for the hoop itself. Okay, it's going. Let's see. Hi, Brenda, Rebecca, and Tina. Yay, Tina is brand new to embroidery and so excited to learn. I'm so glad you're here, Tina. This is my, I'm not going to say obsession. I'm going to say passion. That sounds a lot better. I absolutely love machine embroidery, and the more I do it, I find new things to make. Like, I had no idea I could quilt with my embroidery machine when I first got one. All I wanted to do was monogram my baby stuff. And look at how far I've come since then, and all the types of things that I make is amazing. All right, the next step is an applique. Now, with applique, there are always 3 steps. They're on your machine. Like you'll see, like for this instance, it's a circle. I'm going to have 2 steps that are the exact same circle, but my machine is telling me to do them in 2 different color threads. The different color threads is telling my machine to stop. Since I have a single needle machine, it knows, hey, I can't keep stitching. She needs to change the thread color. But I usually just stitch it all out in one color. But step number 1, which is this one, it shows me where to place my fabric. So with this applique, the final stitch is a beautiful thick satin stitch. That means you're not going to see the thread color that you use for your placement stitch. You're not going to see the thread color you use for the next stitch, which is called the tack down stitch. So placement, tack down, finishing stitch. This was placement. Cut yourself a piece of fabric that is bigger than your placement stitch and then place it right over. This instance, I think, is when ironing the back of your fabric with the Pellon SF101 is extremely important. If I would just put a piece of white fabric on top of this, you are going to see all this navy stitching and navy fabric through it. But with the Pellon underneath it, it really hides it well. So my little piece of fabric here is bigger than my circle. And I'm just going to lay that there. And now we're going to stitch the tack down stitch. Your fabric should be fine just laying there. If you want to tape it in place just to make sure it doesn't budge, or I like to just use my stiletto and make sure there no bubble happens while it's stitching. So I told you there's 3 steps to the stitches. placement stitch, tack down stitch, finishing stitch. But in between the tack down stitch and the finishing stitch is when you're going to trim your fabric. And my favorite applique scissors are the little tweezer ones. And you just, let's go over to the craft table so for our friends that are new, they can see better what I'm doing. Okay, so there's my placement stitch. You can't see anymore because I covered it up. Tack down stitch right on top. Applique scissors of choice. The goal is to trim this fabric as close to this stitch line as you can without actually cutting into it. And we're also being super careful that the scissors are gliding on top of the bit that we're appliquing so that we don't actually cut into that on accident. And turning the hoop all around really helps you get your scissors where they need to be. And the more you do this, the quicker and better you get at it. So this is strictly practice. Okay, turn it back this way. I see a few little fuzzies from threads. This is when I like to use my lint roller, and it picks all that up. And now we'll go back to the machine. But don't you see how you do not see the navy stitching through that white fabric? That's really nice. That's where the Pellon SF101 on the back of the fabric that we essentially prepped all of our fabric for this quilt with really comes in handy. All right, so hoop is loaded. I'm gonna cut the navy thread, pull it out, and load the red thread. That is our next step, is the heart itself. Thread the needle and make sure I don't have no pieces under my hoop. Lower and go. Okay, and then the step after this will be the silver. I don't think I've done too much metallic thread on my Stellaire. I know I've done it on my 6 needle machine. Never had any trouble with it whatsoever. Some tips that I have heard when stitching with metallic thread is, you see how I have my thread on a thread stand and it's feeding in? If you have like a freestanding thread stand, one that's not built into your machine like mine, move it away so that there's like a lot of drape happening between the thread stand and entering the thread path on the machine itself. Also slowing down the machine, which we can do definitely for this next step. And I think that's it. I don't think a special needle is necessary. However, if you constantly are getting thread breaks or something, that's when maybe considering a needle. But we're going to see how it goes with just using the thread stand on my machine and if it gives me any trouble. But I'll definitely slow it down for that bit. Okay, let's see. Yay, Vicky has Kingstar and loves it. Has no problems with it, whatsoever. She bought hers after Halloween. It was on sale as a bundle. Same with Christmas. Ooh, I'll have to look out for Halloween then. All right, so there's the heart. That looks so pretty. It looks like it's hand done. I love that. That is a super cute design. Okay. Cut that. Okay, now let's do metallic and cross our fingers that my machine likes it. Okay, now I want to slow down my machine. On my machine, I could do it while I'm in the middle of the design. On any Brother or Baby Lock machine, you should be able to hit your settings button, even if you're in the middle of stitching. So for me, the settings button's up here. It looks like a little piece of paper with a folded corner. And on my embroidery settings, it says max embroidery speed, The max on my machine is 1,050 stitches per minute, and that's the default setting. And I got a little plus minus. I'm going to lower it down to 500 and hit OK. I think the lowest I can go is 350. Let's try 500. And it brings me right back to my design I was stitching, so I don't lose my place. All right, lower the presser foot and go. Oh, it's so pretty. I like it. Thanks for who suggested that. That was a great idea. See, I don't remember who said it. Teresa, you are the best. Hi, Joe. How you doing? Okay, done with metallic thread. Went beautifully. Now, before I forget, I'm going to go back to my settings, max embroidery speed, and I'm going to turn it all the way back up to 1,050 because this last stitch is going to take a few minutes, and that is the satin stitch that's going to go around and make our embroidery hoop, and I'm doing that in a tan color. And while that's stitching, I'll bring y'all over to Embrilliance and show you how to set up the filler blocks, which I did already send to my machine. So I have those ready to go, but I can show you how I made them. Okay, I'm gonna hit OK here. Back to my machine. Here's my little wooden embroidery hoop. And now that is stitching. Okay. Joe says she's fighting with her cat over her breakfast burrito. I was fighting with Owen yesterday with him being in my photo box. So I don't know if y'all have seen my cat Owen. He is precious. He just made 2 years old last month, and he is very curious about everything and always is in my craft room, all in my business. The only reason why he's not in here now because I closed the door so he doesn't come in while I'm filming. But his face, he loves every time I pull out. I have this photo box from Amazon, and it's like a big old box, and it collapses completely flat, so it's easy to store away. But every time I make something and I take pictures of it to put on the website or to put on the YouTube pictures and all that stuff, I like to have a really nice photo of all the things that I make. And that's where the light box comes in, because it puts all this light on it. Where normally, like if I take a picture of something on my craft table, it's got a shadow of my phone over it. So light box, big old thing, set it up on the floor every time. He comes in, he gets inside the box, he goes around it, and there's a hole at the top so that you can go over it with your phone and take a picture straight down with your stuff all lit up, and you don't get the shadow. That's where he likes to sit, on top of the box, and he just puts his little hand through the hole as I'm working inside the box. Anyway, I posted a little video of it on stories on Facebook and Instagram. So if you follow me on either one of those platforms, check out my stories. You'll see Owen playing in the photo box. That's what he likes to do. But if I'm eating, yes, he'll come and smell whatever I'm eating and pretty much assume that I'm supposed to give him some. Let's see. Oh, what did you get, Joe? All right. So Joe's been struggling with her Pathfinder embroidery machine, which has a really nice 8x12 hoop. Very nice machine, but she's been having trouble with it for years. So she just said she ordered an embroidery machine. She hopes it's worth it. Let me know what you ordered. All right, let's see. Oh, Linda has a good tip for us for metallic thread. She has a shelf above her machine, and she puts her metallics in a mug, and that gives the thread the longer path to relax along the way. And she also uses Kingstar. Thanks for that tip, Linda. Let's see. Oh, Terry has a question. Are you planning on doing videos on the spring showers kit? Yes, I am. I bought spring showers like 2 years ago. This is what it looks like. And I started it. I made an umbrella block. I made this block you can't see here. It's like a sun shining in clouds. I made these bee blocks. I made one of these boot. I don't know which one. I made a boot block. And I think that's as far as I got. So I hope to work on this probably after Christmas and have it done next year. But with this one, I did not order the fabric kit. So I really got to go through my fabric stash and prep this kit from scratch, which I started to do. Oh, look, here's some of the blocks. So that's the little boot block. Isn't that cute? And oh, one of the things I loved about this quilt, the little bees are cute. They have 3D wings. Can you see? And they have mylar in them. I don't know if it's going to focus. Don't look at my face. But there's the bees. And then they have 3D flowers made from felt. And it's done on the embroidery machine. And if you've ever cut paper, you can cut a design like this. So this is all done on the embroidery machine. And then you twirl it up. And you got to glue it on the bottom, which I haven't done yet. It's a little bit of a pain to trim it, but that's maybe where it might be worth to break out the scan and cut to trim this after. But that's the little flower. Super cute stuff. I need to finish that quilt. All right, let's go on to the filler blocks for section 3 that we are working on. All right. Oh, Joe got a poolin. I have heard some good things about poolin. I have not tried them out myself, but I know there are several people in my Facebook group that have them. And there's one lady that she posts fairly regularly making things with her machine. So it has an 8x12 hoop. Yay. That's wonderful. Yeah, so SMP is having an auction now, but I never looked at it to see if they have anything that is a good deal. All right, my design finished stitching. Oh, it's so cute. Look at this. I love this design. Like the actual heart looks like hand cross stitching. That is so pretty. Okay, let's go on to the filler blocks. Let's do the 2x2 ones first. I'm supposed to show you an Embrilliance. Let's go there. Computer. Okay, you should see my screen now. And what am I doing? I need a new hoop. And I need to look at my cheat sheet. Okay, this is the beginning of my folder. Let's see. So now we're on page 8 of my cheat sheet. Now, are we? Yes. Page 8. I'm going to start with filler 21 on page 8 and then turn to page, no, I thought there were 2. Yeah, no, filler 20 and filler 21. Both of them on our page 8. Both of them are size 2. So this is my folder for quilting designs. One of them is geometric, this one. And the size is 2x2. Pick block by block, any format, 2x2. Drag, drop. So that's this one. And then go back. Okay, these are all my quilting designs. Filler 21 is radial lines. This one, radial lines. Embroidery files, any format, 2x2. Drag and drop. So now I got 2 of them. Just move one to the top of your hoop, one to the bottom of your hoop. And like I said, I pre-cut my batting so that it fits perfectly in the placement line. So I delete steps 2 oops, I did something. Undo. I am going to select steps 2 and 3 and hit delete on my keyboard right here. 2 and 3, hit delete on my keyboard. So now I just have placement stitch, put my batting, put my background fabric, baste the background fabric, then do background quilting. Now both of these designs, according to my cheat sheet, are having white background, white thread for the background quilting. So now I can leave this alone. It goes from blue, orange, turquoise, blue, orange, turquoise, and I can go to utility, color sort, new view. Now I'll do both of my batting and basting and quilting in just 3 steps. So this one's already sent to my machine. So now I'm going to unhoop this. And we're gonna slide right over. It's a little tight with my size, but that's fine. There we go. And now we're ready to do the 2 little 2x2 blocks. And I have them in my folder here. I just need to find them. And we can go over to the machine. Okay, make sure everything's out of the way. I'm gonna go back to my home screen. And I already sent this one over wirelessly, and I named it Section 3 Filler. And there's the 2x2 blocks. There we go. That embroidery. I have tan thread on right now, so I'm gonna just leave that on because the first step you're not going to see. And that is the placement for the batting. The step after this is the basting, and that's when we're going to go back to our water soluble thread for the basting stitches. And I got to get my envelope and my cheat sheet so I know I'm loading the right fabrics. So filler 20 that has a geometric, the one that's on the top, has the pink and yellow fabric. Okay. There's my 2 fabrics. So this one has geometric, pink and yellow, and then the white quilting. And then this one has the radial lines, that's this one, and pink hex fabric, white quilting. And then I have the 2 little batting bits, but I have to add my glue. Take it out all the way. There we go. Add my little batting. And then add my background fabric. Right centered on top. Okay. Now I can load my hoop back on my machine. And now I want to change the thread over for that water soluble thread for the basting stitch. Okay. And this might be when you want to have your stiletto ready to make sure your fabric doesn't move on accident. Remember, for these filler blocks, if you're just tuning in for the first time, so we have a whole episode of this series that's all about how to prep your fabric and cut it ahead of time, which that's where I went over your options of cutting your batting perfect to size or cutting it bigger, and then you trim it like an applique. But the instructions in the book tell you to cut all of the filler block pieces to be the exact size it needs to be. And that bit I did not want. So I cut all of my filler blocks to be a 1/2 inch taller and a 1/2 inch wider. Okay. Removing the water-soluble thread. And now we just need white. And while this is stitching, we'll go back to the computer and I'll show you how to set up the next filler blocks, which I'm going to do in the 8x10 hoop. I mean, not 8x10, 6x10. And if you only have a 5x7 hoop, that's your largest you have on your machine, you're just not going to combine them like I am. You're just going to stitch one at a time for these next two. These are nice. They could fit inside the 5x7 hoop together. Okay, that's done. Take my cheat sheet with me back to the computer so that I load the right stuff. All right. Let's see. All right, let me go to the comments real quick. All right. Yay, crafting on a dime with Shay Shay. I love that. I love your YouTube name. She started spring showers. She is starting spring showers in a few weeks. She purchased the fabric kit and the embellishment kit. You're going to love it. Fabric kit makes life so much easier. I feel like since I already started, I got to keep going, or I just have to remake those blocks. I don't know. I did buy the embellishment kit. I think that is super important for most of these featured quilts that Kimberbell makes. I think that embellishment kit really gives it a pop of extra 3D and uniqueness. Bridget is asking what stabilizer I'm using. I am not using traditional stabilizer. I'm actually using lightweight cotton muslin. This was a tip that someone told me back when I was working on my spring showers quilt. It's a lot less expensive and works just as great. The normal stabilizer that is recommended for these types of projects is no-show poly mesh cutaway. It's a lightweight cutaway. And this is a lot less expensive, and I'm very happy with it so far. Carly, what stiletto are you using? Looks like a sort of rubber material. Yes, that is a Clover stiletto. I'm pretty sure I have a link for it in my supplies. It's got a rubber tip, but my rubber tip has broken off. I probably need a new one. But I love the rubber. It's like silicone, I think. But it works good for my touch screen too on my machine, but it has broken off. So I think I even chipped this side too. It's well loved, well used. Okay. So Elsa, she had the question, so why do we cut the filler blocks a 1/2 inch bigger? If we didn't, that background fabric, if we didn't, it would fit perfectly in like our batting. But the problem is the presser foot tends to catch on it, and you essentially would have to tape down all the sides. When I do the batting, the next step is outside of the batting and the presser foot doesn't catch on it, but it would catch, I believe, on the background quilting, even if I glued it down. So they recommend to tape it all around. So I was just preventing that. But that's a personal choice, personal preference there. You can cut it the way they recommend and put the tape around it, or see if you could just glue it down into place. Someone gave me the recommendation to make it a 1/2 inch bigger, and I like that recommendation. Yeah, no problem, Anita. Okay, let's see. Back to Embrilliance. Desktop, computer. Okay. Now, looking at my cheat sheet, I'm going to back this up. Okay, those are all my background quiltings. We are on filler number 19 on page 8 of the cheat sheet. Hobby 6. No. Filler 18. That's the first one. Filler 18, geometric 7 in a 4x6 size. So geometric, embroidery files, block by block, any format. And I am looking for 4x6. That's this one. Let me go back here. Let's make a new hoop. I'm going to change the hoop size now, hitting the preference window folder up here. And these are all in metrics, but when you click on it, it'll give you the inches right here. So that's my 6x10 hoop. Apply, okay. If I hit the O or 0? 0. If I hit 0 on my keyboard, it backs up so I can see the whole hoop. Now let's go back here. I want the 4x6, drag and drop. There it is. And I'm gonna just move this to the top of the hoop. Now, if you only have a 5x7 hoop, you're just gonna do this as it is. Open it in a 5x7, it will fit, and stitch that out. If you have a 6x10 hoop, then you can do what I'm doing. And now let's go on to filler number 19, which is hobby 6, block by block, any format. Okay, and I want 2x4, this one. Drag and drop. There it is. I'm going to select it, drag it down, but I'm also going to rotate it, and I could do that by clicking this arrow to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. Boom. And now I could move this all the way down so that it's at the bottom of my hoop. So now I got both of these in one hoop. You can nudge it using the arrows on your keyboard. You'll know you've gone too far when, let's see, this lights up red. When this highlights red, that means your stuff is not fitting in your hoop. So let's see. Now it fits. I'm like right on that line if you zoom in. That's crazy. Where's the line? Yeah, right on that line. 0. There we go. Now we zoomed back in. But it's not red, so that means everything is fitting and my machine should accept it as a 6x10 design. Now we're going to do the same thing we did with the other designs. I am not trimming my batting, so I don't need steps 2 and 3. If you are trimming your batting, leave it as it is, but you are going to want to change this color blue and this color orange to a different shade. And you would do that by selecting the step, selecting the color chip, make sure it's on threads, not palettes, and you can literally select any other color as long as it's not the same exact blue as this step. Because when we color sort, we want them to group everything that's the same color, and we don't want to group these two steps to be stitch out at the same time. Same with the orange. Go change the color to any other color. But you need down here, steps 2 and 3, you need to change this orange and this blue to the same colors you made for this blue and orange, whatever it was. Yeah, steps 3 and 4. Make sure these two are the same shades. So watch what's going to happen. Why do I keep doing this? Expand. I want this step, and I hold the command or control button on your computer, and they'll select both. And I hit delete on my computer. And I'm this one and this one, delete. So now this is blue, orange, turquoise, blue, orange, turquoise. When I color sort it, utility, color sort, they are going to go in the same step. Boom. So it's only 3 steps, just like last time. And according to my cheat sheet, both of the background quiltings are light pink. So that's why I could group them the same. If they were different colors, I would have just made this design, this one, a different color. So they wouldn't have sorted together, if that makes sense. All right, I've already sent my design to the machine, so I just need to take this hoop off and hoop. Now we're going to the 6x10 hoop. And I'm just getting as close as I can to my little blocks there. This is perfect. This is using up the rest of my muslin I had for this strip. There we go. Make sure everything's nice and tight. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut these off so that while this is stitching, I'll get the water soluble thread off of them and get them ready to be trimmed. That's okay. All right, so this is ready, and I have my envelope with all my stuff by the machine already. Oh yes, good good point, Renee. I've done this before, and for some reason when I updated Embrilliance, it took away my names. But yes, you can rename your hoops so that instead of it saying 130 by 180, you could rename it to 5x7. And you can delete the ones that you don't have or don't use. So you can very much customize your preference window hoop section. All right. And Anita asks, are you sending your designs wirelessly? Yes, I am. And that is, I've already done it before I started the show, but all you do is go to the utility button and then click the send Wi-Fi to brother or baby lock. And because my computer and my machine are on the same Wi-Fi network, it transfers wirelessly. All right, so last bit, loading the 6x10 hoop. Make sure when you're loading these bigger hoops that you got space for your hoop to move around. Like I have a window back here, so I have a little bit more wall space in the back, but I try to pull my machine as forward as I can so that the hoop can move around freely and not bump into anything. All right, go back to the home screen. Like I said, I already sent this one over wirelessly. So it's in my wireless section, and I named it Section 3 Filler 1 Set Embroidery. I have white thread loaded. I'll just go ahead and leave that on there for the placement stitch. Lower and go. So it's a little bit harder for y'all to see, but I think y'all got the idea now. And then this is my fabrics. This is for the big one on the top, and this is for the smaller one on the bottom. Again, I cut these a 1/2 inch bigger than the instruction booklet recommended, but I did cut my batting to fit perfectly in the placement stitch that's happening now. Get my glue stick ready. Got my water soluble thread, and what I said, we're doing both of these in light pink. So I got this red color ready. I'm gonna go ahead and slide this off so that I can work better here. All right. And now I can press my batting right inside the placement stitch for both blocks. Reload the hoop and change your thread to your water soluble. And we're going to put the background fabric on. Okay. Let's see. The butterflies look like they're, like if I put it this way, the butterflies would be upside down. So I'm going to put it this way. But I think this block actually goes horizontal. Let me look at my book. Yes, this block actually goes horizontal. So I don't think it really matters. All right. I am going to just center this on top of my batting. Center this one on top of my batting. Get my stiletto ready just to make sure. I threaded the needle, yes? Okay. All right, now we're stitching the basting stitch. Okay, now it's going to come down to this guy. Okay, and then last step is background quilting. And because I'm doing them both in the same color, they combined it in one step when I did the color sort. Okay, that is ready. Make sure it's going. There we go. All right, while that is happening, let's go back to the craft table and get the basting stitch off of these blocks. So here I just have a little bowl of water and I have Q-tips. And I'm going to do this on top of my mat. And I'm also going to turn my iron on because we're going to press these after. Okay, so just take your Q-tip, dip it in water. You can see it best with this navy one, but you're going to just rub that basting stitch, and that top thread is going to dissolve, and we'll be able to just pull the bobbin thread right out, and it'll be like it was never there. All right, so Bridget's asking, does my embroidery machine have a camera? No, it does not. I have the Stellaire. The Luminaire, which is a step above mine, has a bigger hoop. It has what, 10.5 by 16 is the largest hoop, and it has a camera system. With my machine, there is an app that you can use and use your phone and figure out placement by taking a picture. And if all of the hoops that come with the Stellaire have special registration marks, and these are specific to be used with the app on your phone. So you open up the app on your phone, you take a picture of your item hooped. Like if I'm hooping fabric, I'm hooping a shirt, whatever the case may be. Take a picture of it hooped on your phone, and then it connects to your machine. And so when you go to put your design, load your design, you can see your hoop and your fabric, and you can move the design to be right where you want it to be. So it's kind of the same concept as the camera, but a little different. My only thing that I don't like about that, and I think the camera on the Luminaire works the same way, is the item has to be hooped. It has to be where these registration marks can be seen. If you are floating something, then you won't be able to use that feature because it covers up those registration marks. Okay, our background quilting on the last 2 filler blocks are done. I've added water around these. Now if I flip them over and grab my tweezers, I could see the bobbin stitch for that outer bit, and I can just pull it right out. Same with this one. Comes right out. And now I can cut. I can separate these two. And they're ready to press. Still see some water soluble on top of this. I wonder if it'll go away with the steam of the iron. Okay. Let's see. All right, and now we will iron these 2 blocks. I'm probably, since I did use metallic thread, I'm going to be mindful of that and go around it. All right, and that one's pressed. And now these are ready to trim. But we need to do the other blocks we just made. And that is going to be the same process. Get the water soluble topper off and press. And then we will trim all of them and start putting things together. Except for this one. This one we'll save for next week. All right. All right, I was looking at the comments. Anita says, I've not read the instructions. Do they offer a suggestion to use water soluble for basting, or is this a Carly smart tip? This not a Carly smart tip. This was somebody told me this. I want to say the first video we made where we were prepping for the quilt. Someone suggested in the comments that they have done these quilts before and they use water soluble thread for this basting stitch, and I thought that was brilliant. And they told me, I don't remember if they told me the brand or they told me a store. Hoop Sisters is a place you can find it. I found it on Amazon. But yes, love that tip. So yeah, someone else gave me that tip. Someone else gave me the tip about cutting the filler blocks a little bit bigger. Someone else showed me a tip where we could use muslin as the background, the stabilizer instead of traditional stabilizer. And then someone else showed me that if you cut a long strip, you can hoop and move your hoop along. So these are just all tips that I've gathered along the way. And they've been super duper helpful. So I'm happy that I can pass them all on to y'all if this is your first time making a project like this. All right, last one. Let's see. Yeah, Anita says she's going to binge watch this. I'm so glad you found this, Anita. I hope you enjoy this project as much as I am enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun. I can't wait to do the next one. I wanted to start. So, oh, for those of y'all that are following along with me trying not to buy things on Kimberbell, I am being good this week, but there are some good deals in case you want to get them. But what started this whole project was on Kimberbell's website. They have a deal of the week. And a few months ago, their deal of the week was this quilt. And it came with the book with all the designs. It came with all the background quilting designs. And it came with the embellishment kit. So all of it was a package deal, and it was a great price. That's what got this all started. And since then, I have been stalking the Kimberbell deal of the week bit of the website. And I have bought another project, and that is the Main Street Celebration pillow. I have a little video of it on my YouTube channel where I kind of go over it, and that it's something that I plan on doing and where you can buy supplies. And I was hoping to start it this week, but the kids were off of school, and of course I didn't get any work done while they were home. So next week it's happening. I'm going to start that one. And that one will be recorded, and it will just be posted on YouTube whenever it's done. I'm not going to have a schedule like this one. This one we're going to go live every Thursday until we have this quilt finished. The other one I'm just trying to do in my spare time, and no telling when that time will be. So instead of going live, I am going to just hit the record button, and then I'll post the video later. All right, now we are trimming. We have all of our blocks, and we need, so 2 options for trimming if you're new to this. Oh, I never did pull the bobbin out of these. You, on the back of your block, you should easily see the stitch line where your batting is, right? You can use a ruler and go 1/4 inch off of that line on all 4 sides. But something that does make life a little bit easier are these orange pop rulers that Kimberbell makes. And I bought these a couple years ago when I bought the Spring Showers quilt. I was like, I'll use them now. I got this quilt. And they are very helpful. So I do recommend them. They took me a minute to get used to using because I kept trying to cut. I kept starting in the wrong spot. But now that I've gotten the hang of it, they are easy to use. So we're going to start with these 2 little blocks. And for that, I'm using the square set. And this was the inside of the square set. This is what they normally look like. But this is a special bit. And this one helps with the 2.5 inch. And they have this etching of a 2.5 inch block here. And they have the line where your batting is. And then they have your 1/4 inch around it. So what you do is you line up your batting with this etching that's on the inside here, which is nice. You could see through it. I could see my batting line. And I'm going to cut here and here and then rotate. Hold that in place. Cut. And now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, so there's our little 2.5 inch block. And we'll do the same with this one. Okay, so those are done. That's the only one I use this one for. Now I'm going to grab the cross stitch heart block, which is a final size of 4 by 4 or 4.5 by 4.5. I'm gonna flip this over, use this square clear, not clear blue tile, orange pop ruler. Did I call them clear blue tiles earlier? Orange pop ruler. And there's a couple things. I want to center my batting within this, and that's 1/4 inch away from each side. I can also see the little puncture holes where my basting stitch was, and that also helps me kind of line it up just right. And now having the rotating mat is helpful, but I got to move things out the way so that it doesn't hit it. Okay. And this is the mistake I was making. I always wanted to start on this side. I don't know why, but I wanted to start on that side. I need to start on the left. I need to be putting pressure of my rotary blade along here because I'm right-handed. I guess I'll be opposite if you're left-handed. But that was the mistake I kept making when I was trimming my blocks. So it just goes in there, and now you rotate. And so your block and your ruler doesn't move, just the cutting board. And so everything should stay in place and just go along all 4 sides. And it took a while for me to get this, but I finally got it to where when I trim it now, it comes right out. So there is a perfect 4.5 by 4.5 inch block. Okay, the other blocks are rectangular in shape, and so that requires the rectangular set of orange pop rulers. They look like these. They had some inside pieces too that just fell out. And let's see. This one works here. This one we have to use. Is this one? Maybe this one gets used here. Oh no, here it is. I have this one. This was inside the rectangular set. That is for this one. Okay. So this guy gets set up first. Turn it over. Center it. You center your batting with the ruler. And then start trimming. And links to all of these things can be found in that original blog post on my website that goes over everything. Oh, fingers too close. All the supplies for this project. And like I said, these are optional. These are just things that help. But if you're not ready to invest in some of these things because they are pricey, you can use your regular ruler and just measure 1/4 inch off of your batting stitch line. That one's done. All right, so this one's last. I don't think I've used this one yet. Or maybe I have, I don't remember. So I could see where I am going to line up. It's etched out, my batting line. Let's see if I can just rotate it all around. So here, there. Okay. And there's the last block for section 3. Close that. And now we can start putting everything together. I think I'm finally getting quicker at this. Let's see, what time is it? It's 11:50. Yeah, we're doing good, guys. All right. Let me go back here. Okay, let me read the comments. What we got going on? Let's see. Okay, Linda's trying to be a good girl. She got the Main Street celebration things and organizing it. Can't wait for the box for the CD. So with the Main Street, the one that I bought it directly off of Kimberbell's website. It was a digital download, so they're not going to send me a book or CD. I just downloaded the designs right off of the Kimberbell website in my digital library, and the instruction guide is there as a PDF, and you can print either the whole thing, so you could have you a nice booklet like we have at our quilts, or you can just print off the couple pages that you need or reference your computer instead. But yes, that's my next goal. So I made myself a basket of all of my Main Street celebration and the cute fabrics that I just pulled, but I really have to go. I did print the fabric guide and the cutting guide, and now I got to go through my fabrics and be like, okay, which fabric am I really going to use for this bit that I have to cut? So I got it all here. I got to go through it though. Okay, so Anita, that's you also purchased Oh So Delightful at the same time. Sale. You can't pass up a good sale. Okay, Glenda asks, where did I get the cute little water bowl with the quilt block? This was in my Christmas Advent box that I got from Missouri Star Quilt Company. I bought the box for the first time last year. I've been like stalking it for 2 years, and I finally broke down and bought it. And actually, I have YouTube videos of opening the presents. I don't have a video for every day, but like we combined like 2 and 3 presents I would open in the video, so y'all can see everything that was included in that box. And I've already ordered my one for this year. Super cute box, lots of cute things in it. This is actually a measuring cup, but I use it in. It came like a stack. I use it to hold things in my craft room instead of a measuring cup. Would hold water. Let's see. Oh, and he was like, well, darn, I was not going to purchase the orange pop rulers, but now they look super useful. Let's see. And you travel a lot, so your rotating mat is not with me, of course. Let's see. The one thing I'm thinking with these orange pop rulers, though, I really either want to make something to store all this in, or Kimberbell makes a tote that is perfect for the orange pop rulers and the clear blue tiles, but it's very expensive. And I'm like, I am not spending that much money on a tote. I can make something. And I bought a pattern. What is this pattern? I bought a By Annie's pattern. I've never sewn anything like this before in my life, but I don't even know where it is. Oh, here it is. But I think this would be perfect place for everything. I've never sewn anything like this before in my life, but I want to, and I think this would be a good thing to keep my orange pop rulers and my clear blue tiles in, but we have to see if I actually make it. That's the problem, because I've already had it for a year. So if next year, by this time, I haven't made that, then I might break down and buy the Kimberbell tote. No worries, Rita. No worries. You can catch up later. Okay, so Terry asks, are we finishing quilt blocks next week? Yes, I think so. Let me go ahead and start laying things out so I'm working while I'm talking to you, because I know I make myself very slow. Next week, I would like to see if we can make the sewing machine block, the dress form block, and the Life is So Good block. I'm leaving it for you to be homework for this cross-stitched block. If you want to make the same one that we made in today's video, just make another one of them. Or you can do something totally different, customize it in any kind of way. What you can do is make the block and just delete the heart step in Embroidery and then put whatever you want in that spot instead. If you have a cute design, if you just want to even just use the BX fonts and lettering and just put made with love by your name and the year. So it kind of serves as like a quilt label, but it's built into your quilt. You can just use some lettering and put a little saying right there, or put your name, put the date, something cute right there. I think would be fun. I went ahead and made a block with my logo. I didn't use the hoop like in the picture because my logo has a hoop in it, so it kind of looks silly having a hoop inside of a hoop. But homework is whatever you want to do for that last little block, and I'm excited to see what y'all come up with. So if we could get those 3 blocks done next week, then the following week we could start working on borders. All right, I am laying out all my blocks now, and I will try to answer questions while I'm doing that. This camera. Here we go. All right, so we got this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then the blocks we made last week. These are the blocks we made last week. For this one, I ended up, they have suggestions on how to cut this one with the orange pop ruler, but I was confused. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do this right, and I really didn't want to mess it up. So see, I ended up just using my regular ruler and cut a 1/4 inch off of each border. So if you, like me, look at this and it's like this is confusing, just use your ruler and cut the 1/4 inch around it. This one's to me a little bit more complicated. These are easy. All right, going to my picture, I got the iron, this 2x4, this 2x2, this 2x2, and the cross stitch heart. Oh, that's actually the bottom. That's the bottom. Okay, and then the top is this block horizontal, and then your 3 spools of thread. When you're looking at your spools of thread, make sure you don't put them on like this. You want them to where the thread is coming out on the left-hand side and going down. And the order they have it is the pink, the blue, and then the yellow for the color of the spool. But if you want to change it up and do this, that looks good too. You could play with it however you want. All right, so this is the piecing. Now, to me, I would piece this to this, this to this, this to this, these 2 together, then these 2 together, these 2 together, then these 2 together. But let's see what the instructions say, because sometimes I think things and then the instructions are just not. Yeah, I'm probably going to do it not the way the instruction says, because the last time I did it the way the instruction said, I find it was a lot harder to line things up when we did this. So I think I'm going to line all these up. I'm going to line all these up, and then I'm going to do this line last. I think what's going to happen is this seam, this is going to be the only thing, and maybe this one. These are going to line up. I think it'll be easier for me to do that, putting this together, and then putting the 2 rows together versus what the instructions say. So, okay. All right, Patricia was saying that that bag is good. It's expensive, but it does go on sale. Okay, tell me if y'all ever see it on sale. The supplies for the Bayou Annie bag are just as expensive as the Kimberbell tote. I knew that was probably going to happen. Anita's looking at that tote too. Terry says, my friend Shelly made the ruler wrap by Annie. You might like that one. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, Retha said she was confused on cutting the iron too. Yeah, I thought it was just simple just to use the ruler, like your plain old quilting ruler. And I just lined up my 1/4 inch line on the stitch line for the batting, like that. And then I did that. Okay, around all the sides. Okie dokie smoky. I need to go set up my machine to be sewing. And the Grand has it on sale. Has the tote on sale. Ooh, I'm going to look that up next. All right, we want to go to the machine and we want to go back to the home screen. And I'm going to show y'all how, if I hit sewing, this whole thing moves out the way. Pew. So now it goes all the way over there. So I have all of this space for sewing. All right, and I'm going to take my embroidery bobbin out. I'm going to use my little handy dandy screwdriver and take my embroidery foot off. And the embroidery foot has a piece that actually plugs in the back because it has a laser light. And I'm going to put on my regular foot, but I'm using the 1/4 inch piecing foot. So I have a little guide bar here. Let's see. Go on correctly, please. Thank you. Okay, and then tighten that. And load my regular white bobbin, which luckily I got a good looking full one. And I just wound that with normal 40 white embroidery thread. Okay, and what do I need? I'm going to use white 40 weight embroidery thread for my top thread because I have yet to invest in cotton thread, but I figured since everything else on the quilt is done with polyester 40 weight thread, there's no reason why we can't piece it together with 40 weight polyester thread. Okie dokie. Now I am ready to sew. I do need to change my stitch though to be the center, so because the foot I have only works with a center straight stitch, and that's done. All right, and now I'm going to lay out my pieces over here so y'all could see what I'm doing. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these two right side together. Are y'all seeing good? Let me, okay. Making my camera where I could see what y'all see. Okay, where are we? Here. These are our 4 blocks. I'm putting these two right side together, making sure my thread comes off like that. This could be in either direction. I think I'm going to go with this direction. And I'm going to line up these two. I'm not even going to clip or anything. And I'm going to stitch, and it should end up where the stitching happens right on that batting line. That's how it should work out. That gives you, that kind of is also serves as a stitching guide, is that batting placement line is going to show you right where you should be stitching. Okay, I'm going to cut that. Now that that is done, boom, open this up, take my next spool, make sure the thread's going off of the spool like I want, put these right side together, and do the same thing. Cut. Nope. Cut. Okay. Now we have that. And then last one. All right, and now we're done with this, and we can go press all those seams open, but that's the top bit of section 3. And now what I'm going to do for the bottom row of section 3 is first I'm going to put these two right side together. And once that's done, I'm going to press it open. And then I'm going to do these up and down right sides together. So let's go do these first. I think I saw someone asked a question about fabric. I actually purchased a fabric kit made by Kimberbell with all of their fabrics, and that are the same fabrics used in the picture example on the front of the instruction book. That is optional. I do recommend it if you are willing to spend the money on it, because it makes this whole process so much easier. And I do love all the fabrics that they pick for the, like, I loved this picture. Like I wanted it to look like this, but by all means you can use your own fabric stash. That was my intention when I first bought it, actually, and then I was like, I really want these fabrics. I am going to attempt to not use a fabric kit for the spring showers quilt when I do that one next year. And I'm using my own fabrics for the Main Street celebration that I showed y'all. That is the bench pillow that I'm working on, hopefully starting next week. So that will be fun going through that process. But the thing is pick them all out at the same time and prep them all at the same time. That is what's going to get you through these projects a lot quicker. All right, I am going to try to press these seams open. I need to get my, what is it called? Clapper. I don't even know if my iron's hot enough. We're going to find out. All right, but because this is so bulky, because it has the stabilizer. Now the batting is not in the seam allowance, so that bulk is not there. But these seams are rather bulky compared to traditional piecing. So that is when pressing them completely open is your best option versus pressing them to one side. Okay, so that bit is done. And we can turn it over and press from the front. There's nothing on these that I'm going to mess anything up. And now we will press this one open. Thank you so much, Faith. I'm so glad you're enjoying my class. Okay. Elsa says she got very confused when preparing the sections, decided to go one block at a time. It can be a bit overwhelming, but I did it. That is, I think, definitely going to be a personal preference thing, because I was completely and utterly overwhelmed doing one block at a time and figuring out the fabric for it each time. That made me not sit down at my machine and really start working on the next block. So depending on how you are, like, because I will tell you, I was also very intimidated by preparing the whole quilt at the same time. But once I made my cheat sheet, sat down and really thought about it, and now these two go perfectly now that we've pressed this open. So that's the next thing we're going to stitch. But once I made my cheat sheet, which in y'all case, y'all just download it and look it over. And buying the fabric kit helped me because I wasn't trying to figure out what fabric I wanted to use for which piece. And just going by the stitching guide, the cut guide, I mean, that helped me a lot. And once I got started, I was like, it flew by, and I enjoyed it. I put on a TV show here in my craft room. Really good show if you have Netflix. It has Robert De Niro in it. It was called 0 Day. That was really good. Anyway, I watched that whole series while I was cutting fabric. And once I got it done, I felt like super accomplished, and then was like, okay, I am making this now. But that's definitely going to be a personal, thing. How do you work best? All right, so I've stitched. Oh wait, I'll change cameras. Boop. All right, I've stitched these together now, and I need to press this open. And it's gonna be a little bulky right here because we're folding these two down. There we go. Did I mess up the last bit? That's okay. All right. Now that that is done, we can do these as like 3 different. Treat this as one block now, and go this to this one, and then go this to this one. So, and then once that's done, then we'll line it up with that. Let's see. Rita said, I cut the pink spool block incorrectly and had to redo the block, making a mug rug from the one I cut wrong. Yeah, there you go. Making something out of something else. That's not losing anything. Oh, wait. I want to go here. Yeah. That's a great idea. All right. This and this. I got my little cord for my iron all taped in the middle where I don't mess it up on accident. Lining these two up. Okay, also here might be where you want to use a stiletto because we have this these folded over seams from the 2x2 blocks. And so now I fold that open, and now these are going to go right sides together. And if you want to sew it this side instead, then I'll be less likely for these to get folded over if they're on the bottom. So I'll go this direction. I don't think that part matters. As long as they are right on top. Okay. And that is done. And now we just need to line up. We need to press these seams open and then line up the top to the bottom. So there's our second row. And again, these center bits are going to be a little bulky because of the 2x2 blocks. And then I do want to be mindful of that metallic thread that is right here. Oops, messing up those. Okay. And now we just got a couple of points to line that should help us line this up correctly. And yeah, I want to line up this seam and this seam. So that's folding these right sides together. See how these two, I want those to line up just right. And so I'm going to clip those. You can also pin them. But that's where I want to make sure those don't budge. And I'll go ahead and clip over here too, just to make sure. But now I'm going to run a 1/4 inch seam allowance down here. And when I should open it up, it'll look like that. It looks like this, like when you look at it this way, there's some overhang here. I don't know if that's just because I trimmed the block wrong or what, but that should be okay. We can trim the edge when it's done. Okay. And now we go back to the machine. Hi, Joyce. All right, here goes nothing. I'm gonna get to my first clip. Oops, throw my stiletto around. Okay, but this clip wasn't a point. I'm just making sure my pieces line up. Okay, make sure that stays. All right, let's see if I did that good. All right, and yay, that looks good. So these are the points I was trying to line up. Yay. So now we just need to press it open. So this is our finished section 3. And I'm just going to press this open, but I could do that later. But yeah, this is section 3. Yay! And I still have, now I think I should go ahead. I'll probably do this after the show's over. This is section 1. And this is section 2. And now here is section 3. Super cute. I can't get it all in the camera in one in one look, but it came out super cute. Yeah, I'm happy I got these lines straight. And then let's see, nothing. Let's see, I could line up these points here when I sew section 2 to section 3. And then when I sew these, I'll line up this line here and this line here. Yeah, I like to make sure I got something I could align it to, because you got one single line going down that whole thing and then starting here and going down. Yeah, so just see wherever you have some points that meet, and that can be your guide that you are lining everything up correctly when you match your sections together. All right, so this is it for section 3 of the Oh So Delightful quilt. Next week will be week 8, and I'm hoping that we can stitch 3 blocks from section 4. And I have homework for you to do the cross stitch heart. Real quickly, let's go over that so you can have it done for next week if you have any questions. So my idea is, let's go here. All right, what did we do today? Where's it at? This one. This is the cross stitch heart, except it had a different background quilting design. It had the radial lines quilting design. So open up the radial lines quilting design, merge the cross stitch heart on top of it. Okay. If you're doing like me and your batting is cut to size, delete steps 2 and 3 of your background quilting. Then open up your cross stitch heart. The only thing you need to do would be delete this. If you don't want to do it the way, if you want to do something different, have fun with it. The only step you would need to delete is this heart bit. So if I wanted to just hit delete on my keyboard, boom, and use the lettering tool within Embroidery and type whatever you want. So if I wanted to write let's see, probably do better, do the multiple line text. So then you can control with love. I don't know if I should make that 3 lines. Let's see. Let's go to set. And you can choose how you want it centered. If you want it left adjusted center, I want center. I need to go, this is a native font, so I can play with this a lot. So I can see if I can make it fit. So maybe I would do love by Carly Bell, set. So then I make it 3 lines. So make it work for you. And then you can play with different fonts. The native fonts you're going to be able to resize easily. Whereas BX fonts that you have purchased, but even this one, I can't make it any smaller. Purchased fonts. Let's see. You'd probably have to find something that comes in a 0.5 inch size. Like this is the smallest, is 0.75. Find one that you have that comes in a 0.5 option. Here we go. This one is 0.5. That's still really big. Wait. It's still off. Let me make it 100. And do I have 0.3? Oh, okay. That's probably a 1/4 inch font. It's going to look funny if you want to make this bit first and add your background quilting after, so that you can really see what's going on and center that, and then go add your background quilting back and make sure that it's centered. But you can do this in your block for section 4 instead of the cross stitch heart. And you can also, let's see, I forgot about the year. I could put the year, enter 2025. Set. There we go. So like that could be the last little block in section 4. But the simplest thing would be just go delete the heart and then add a lettering design. You don't need to change the position of it. if you wanted to put it back in between these two steps like the heart was, but it can stitch after this. That doesn't matter. As long as it's after the applique is done. And this is after the applique. So you can let it be last like that and then just choose whatever thread color you want to be it. But that would be a fun way to personalize your quilt using Embroidery Essentials, and just make your block. Just delete the heart and then add a little lettering design, whatever you want. So let me know how y'all like that. And that is your homework for next week's project, where we will hopefully finish section 4. And I will make sure I am prepared to teach the sewing machine block as a split design. The one thing with it though, it's going to be the same as the iron, where your block has to be 8.5 by 10.5. If you're going to do background quilting, you're probably going to have to do like a clear blue tiles method, but don't forget you can, I don't know where I put it, but you can print the clear blue tiles. You can use Hobby 6 that came with our background quilting designs and print a little template and figure out multiple hoopings. Or you can just not do any background quilting on this particular block if that's too complicated. So, but I'll definitely go over stitching it in 2 hoopings, the sewing machine bit. And that's it. Yay. All right, let's see. Any questions? Yeah, Anita says she just ordered the background quilting designs. Yes, I think they really make it pop. Now, as we go on and we collect these things, it may get to a point in the future where we don't need to buy the specific background quilting for the quilt that we're doing. We may be able to sift through all the background quilting designs that we purchased already and substitute. So that way it would save us a little bit of money. But depending on the quilt, because like some of them are very themed, like the Christmas quilts and the Halloween quilts and the 4th of July quilts, those are going to be very themed. But anything that you're making that's not holiday themed, I think you can just use some traditional background quilting designs and make it really fun and save a little bit of money, because that is something I've found I've started collecting. Okay. Yay. Okay. Anita likes the personalization instead of the cross stitch heart. Yay. Oh, another option I want to tell you is if you look in your booklet, one of the bonus designs, let's go here, are these cute little ones. It's hard to see. This is a little applique heart, house with an applique heart in the middle. And this one says, oh, so happy. You could replace this heart with this little house applique, or you could replace it with so happy. This one says life is so good. That one's already built into our designs, but we can go grab one of these and merge it with this block and replace the heart. So that's another idea if you want to use some of the bonus designs that came with your quilt. Okay. Let's see. Anita says she's got the jumbo hoop. She's going to try it out. 12 by 16, and she'll let everyone know how it comes out. Yay. Good. I'm excited for you. All right. Did I miss any questions from before? What am I doing? As soon as this live is over, I am going to check out. I already lost the store. Where's the store? That has the Kimberbell tote and the Grand. Let me write it down right now. I'm going to her website. And the Grand. I'm typing it on my computer now because I'm going to look at that tote. Let me tell you how much it is in case anyone else is interested. I just searched Kimberbell and a lot of things are popping up. Oh, she's got all kind of Kimberbell stuff on sale. This may be a problem. Dum-dum. Let me put it to where y'all can see. Yikes. Okay, there we go. This is Anne the Grand, as someone suggested, but look, everything's on sale. There it is. Okay, so normal price is $130 and it's on sale for $97. So that's, yeah, it's a good $30 off. $32.50 off. So that's a good deal. It's still a lot of money. But I may break down and buy that. And I'll still make my Buy Annie pattern one day. But look at all of this stuff. Very cute. What's next? Okay, this is that. I bought this quilt. I have all that actually right in front of me. Oh, I really want this one. Quilting Through the Seasons. I think I want this one too. So that when 4th of July is over, this one can hang up all year long. Because I have a spot where I'm gonna put a ladder in my living room. I might go get that too. Y'all are getting me in trouble. Told y'all this is a problem. But thank you, S. Renee, for telling me about that sale. I'm gonna go look at it some more. Okay. Okay, last question I see. Anita, did you put adhesive backing on all of your background fabric? I put Pellon SF101 fusible backing on all of my fabric for this quilt. The background fabric and anything that was used as applique, with the exception of the block we're going to do next week, the sewing machine. There's this like little piece of fabric that hangs off the sewing machine. I did not put it on the back of this one because we want that one to be very drapey when it's hanging off. So you don't want it to be stiff and maybe poking out. So this was the one bit I did not put Pellon SF101, and I didn't put it on the back of the applique glitter that's used in the iron, and I didn't put it on the back of the velvet that's used in the pin cushion. Everywhere else, every piece of background fabric, or like the bright red applique, all of these, everything else is going to have the Pellon SF101 fusible backing on the back of the applique fabric. Typically when I do applique, I've always used Heat and Bond Light on the back, and then I fuse the applique to whatever it is I'm sewing it on. But for this project, I didn't do that. I only used the Pellon, and I'm happy with it. It's coming out really nice. All right, so that is it for today, guys. Thanks to everyone who joined me. I will be back next Thursday. We're going to do section 4 of the quilt. In the meantime, I will also be live tomorrow for our April Sip and Stitch. And we are going to be going over how to embroider a tote with your embroidery machine, but specifically 2 key lessons I want y'all to take from this tutorial is I'm going to show you how to do this on a flatbed machine, and that is by opening the seam of the tote bag so that we can make this nice and flat and open and easy to stitch on our machine. I'm going to show you some options for that because Kimberbell actually makes a blank tote bag that's super easy to do this with. The other lesson I'm teaching is I did this on a 5x7 hoop. This is an 8x8 inch design. And I bought the design from Urban Threads. And what I did, because the way this design was made, it was super simple. I just stitched out these 2 pieces in one hooping. And then I took my hoop off the machine, re-hooped it right here, and stitched the other parts. And I did that just by eye and printing out the designs from Embrilliance on a piece of paper and use these as a guide so that I would hoop it in the right exact spot. So those are the 2 main things I want you to take away from tomorrow's lesson. So if you're interested in learning how to open up a bag so we can stitch it easily on a flatbed machine, or how to re-hoop something, a larger design, I didn't really have to use the software to split the design. This particular design was easy to do it just by hand, I guess you could say, or manually. I'll show you how to do that, and then how to figure out your placement so that when it stitches, it looks like I did this all at one time. And I didn't use a multi-positionable hoop. I'm going to literally re-hoop my 5x7 hoop. So I'm going to do this on my NQ1700E flatbed machine, which has a 6x10 hoop, but that one does not have a multi-positionable hoop option like some of the smaller Brother and Baby Lock machines. So that's why I wanted to show you that particular tutorial for tomorrow. So that's tomorrow, live Sip and Stitch, 10:30 a.m. Here on YouTube and on Facebook. And you can go to the Sip and Stitch homepage, which I'll put at the bottom there. Just go to my website, carlybell.com. You'll see Sip and Stitch in the menu. Click that and scroll down and you'll see tomorrow's project with the list of all the supplies that you need for it and links to YouTube and Facebook. So that's it for today. Hopefully I'll see y'all tomorrow, if not next week, for the next edition of the Sew Along. But have a great rest of your day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.